There's your white frat boys doing the right thing and replacing the Palestinian flag with Old Glory, taking it upon themselves with their toxic masculinity. Yeah, we can use a little toxic masculinity right now. Really good news overnight at campus, let's not call them protests anymore. They're riots. We saw what happened at UCLA. At Columbia, the protesters, the rioters, it went well beyond just their illegal and violent takeover of the quad and center of campus with their encampment. No. They decided to attack one of the buildings. And, well, that's when the police drew the line. But before the cops even showed up to drag the dirtbag pro-terrorist idiots out of the building, a couple of brave Columbia University students stood their ground. I mean, this is exactly what we would want our sons to do in this case, right? And after the brouhaha, they showed up on Laura Ingram's show. Take a look.
Two brave students at Columbia faced off against the angry mob as they tried to break into Hamilton Hall.
Running circle blockade around these three. We're going to move them out. Let's go. Another human chain. United. Get someone wrap around.
Well, I want to point out here again, isn't it lovely? Look at these beautiful young kids, kind of nerdy, not going to lie, might be computer science students. I think they might play D&D. Definitely, I might see them, when I'm playing Overwatch. They could be one of the dudes I'm playing with on the team. But look at them. They're done. They're fed up. And show the contrast here of these kids who are proud to show their face. I love this contrast whenever we can show it. They're proud to show who they are and stand up for what they stand for. And look at all of these moronic idiots who don't even have an original thought in their mind. They just repeat the same chants over and over again that's been programmed into their heads. And they all cover their faces as they inflict violence and vandalism on our society. It's such a clear contrast as to who's on the right side, the bright side of this issue, and who's not, who's part of the dark forces here. I mean, why would you cover your face unless you knew you were doing something wrong?
Is someone recording this? Are you recording this? 100% assault. What is your name? What is your name? Can you
Joining me now, Rory Wilson and Charles Beck, the two students you just saw. You guys, first of all, major kudos to you. I don't know whether just to congratulate you or declare you insane for trying to face off against that mob. But Rory, let's start with you. What made you decide to take that stand?
Well, it was pretty much on the spur of the moment. My friends got me out of bed, told me something was happening on campus. I ran over and I saw that it was pretty much chaos. People were smashing in the windows. Massive mob gathered outside of Hamilton Hall, piling up chairs on the inside and that sort of thing. So I wanted, just kind of off the cuff of it, wanted to show that I disapproved of what was going on, that this was completely inappropriate, destroying the property of our university, and that this is not at all the way that we ought to conduct ourselves in any sort of discourse. And so I just wanted to register my protest against their protest. That's what I was telling them when they were yelling at me, and say, I'll protest your protest. I'm free to do that.
I just want to jump in here, and there's more to this interview, and I want you to see these two young men to think about what he just said. I wanted it to be known that this is inappropriate, this is wrong, this is not how we go about things. He is the most mature voice on Columbia University campus that you've heard recently, more mature than the faculty, more mature than the university president, more mature than the professors who were standing out there egging these dirtbags on. He's the grown-up in the room, and he's a 22-year-old kid attending Columbia, but he gets it. This is not how we handle things. This isn't appropriate. This is the wrong thing to do, and you can't get even one of the... Okay, there was one professor who said that. We showed you the video last week, and they barred him from campus. Is there any doubt who the good guys are here? All right, more of these guys.
Well, Charles, you actually got dragged away, I understand, at one point. Here's what happened. Watch.
You guys are the ones dragging people away.
All right, this is assault.
You're shoving me. All right.
So you don't want to get assault. Ruin your whole life. Oh, sorry, you're your whole life.
I'm trying to get him and my other friend out.
Okay, thank you.
I'm trying to get them out.
Thank you.
Don't mess. Why are you trying to get us out?
Charles, one of your friends said something to you to convince you to move away at that point. What was said?
Yeah, that's a good friend of mine who I've known for quite a couple years. Essentially, he was really just quite scared for my health and safety. He had sort of had a top field vision of it, and he was afraid that if I'd remained there, that the crowd would have caused me serious bodily injury, even death. And essentially, what he whispered to me was, well, something along the lines of, "Don't be stupid, don't get martyred for a building." Sort of the idea that perhaps it wasn't worth getting that injured. But I can certainly see where he was coming from. Perhaps part of the sort of move here was I wasn't really thinking, to be entirely honest with you, about my own health and safety. I was more so just thinking of, I don't know, thinking that someone needed to say something. Ideally, someone at our university could sort of say that, well, they didn't agree with what was happening, and they understood it as something fundamentally wrong.
Well, they don't want to debate, Rory. Sorry, Charles, but they don't want to debate. They want their way or the highway. No debate at all. And you guys were, frankly, potential roadkill if you got in the way of that. And you told one of our producers, Rory, that I guess you thought someone might have been following you on your walk home from Hamilton Hall. Is that the case?
Yeah, it's hard to know. There were a lot of shady people going around outside of campus. There were people in the crowd there that I'm not sure if they were students, but definitely on the outside, there was footage of people climbing into our John Jay Hall from outside of campus, all in black. And yeah, there was a car that was full of masked people who seemed to be keeping an eye on us. I'm not entirely sure, but we stayed together as a group with some of our friends to make sure that we got back safely.
Well, I heard both of you had a run-in with this professional protester, this woman, Lisa Fithian. Watch this.
We, as students of this university, are fully free to stand here in public. Public part of the university.
You have way more of a right. You have way more of a right to do what we're doing than any of these people have to destroy this building.
No one's destroying the building.
I beg to differ. People have broken the windows with the intention of taking this building so that they can take the university hostage. You know what? I'm glad to be here, Rory.
Okay, Rory. Or Charles, I guess now. We're going to talk more about her in a moment, but how did this Lisa introduce herself to you? Did she tell you that she was a protester, Charles?
She claimed that she actually was just there to make sure that no one got hurt, and was just there to ensure that people sort of stayed out of the way who shouldn't have been in the way. She actually tried to sort of present herself as more of a moderating character who was sort of there to just sort of ensure that things were quote unquote safe. She also said that she was, quote unquote, with the university in some capacity, though I had no idea what that meant. Yeah, being honest.
Yeah. So
hey, Rory. Rory, what's your message to the Board of Trustees tonight? Who could could have shut this thing down a week ago?
My message would be that they just need to get things under control and give graduating seniors their commencement. Seniors, people who are seniors right now have gone through a lot in their college career. And so it's the least that they can do to just get things under control and allow people to finish up their college career with an actual graduation.
Rory and Charles, come to me if you need work, because we're always looking for brave students. Fantastic. Good work, and thank you for actually representing normal America.
Great kids at Columbia University. And just so you know, Laura, they've got a Columbia education. They might be able to do better than working as a production assistant on your show. That said, wouldn't be a bad career move for them. Lisa Fithian, you heard them refer to Lisa Fithian. She has been glowingly described as a trainer of mass rebellion. Lisa Fithian was right in the middle of this thing. Lisa Fithian is 63 years old. I don't think she's a student at Columbia University. Lisa Fithian began her professional protesting, rioting in the mid-70s. She does this for a living. It's called community organizing. Remember when we elected a president who was a community organizer? This is what we got. Fundamental transformation of America. You also saw that moment where these rioters with their faces covered with their keffiyeh scarf, the terrorist scarf that they probably just purchased from Banana Republic. You saw them pushing themselves against the blonde kid with the glasses, and then repeating over and over again, this is assault, like they're accusing the kid, the victim of assault. This is a classic Antifa tactic. You see this all the time. You ask Julio Rosas, who covers this stuff as an independent journalist, Bill Mallusion, who's been down at the border. Whoever covers these riots, whenever Antifa shows up, this is what they do. But thank God this story has turned a little bit, where guys like that are flexing their toxic masculinity and actually setting things right. In fact, over the weekend, we saw exactly that at the campus of Arizona State University, where a fraternity decided to leave their kegger for a while, head over to campus, and tear down the encampment and throw it right where it belongs, in a trash bin.
Right. We've got the white frat boys throwing away protesters' belongings, and we've got the pigs in brown doing nothing about it, although we are being forced off campus.
The white frat boys are ruining everything. No, the white frat boys are keeping their campus clean and tidy and orderly, because the white frat boys paid tuition and they deserve a clean and tidy and orderly campus. And also the white frat boys' parents pay taxes in the state of Arizona, and that is Arizona State University, isn't it? And so they're doing everybody a favor, and we praise and thank the white frat boys. Those white frat boys aren't alone, by the way. Over at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the white frat boys were walking along campus, and they saw that on the main flagpole, the Palestinian flag had replaced the American flag, and well, the white frat boys wanted to do something about it.
Was so proudly we heard up at the twilight's last gleam. Whose broad stars and bright stars through the perilous fight. Over the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets ran fire, the bombs bursting in air.
I would love to hear another chorus of that, but the video ended. Yeah, that's right. By the way, last I checked, North Carolina is one of those swing states, right, where the presidential election might be on the bubble or close. I don't think so. Not when this is the scene on a college campus with 20-year-olds. I don't think so. There's your white frat boys doing the right thing and replacing the Palestinian flag with Old Glory, taking it upon themselves with their toxic masculinity. Yeah, we can use a little toxic masculinity right now. Here's the scene as described by Guillermo Estrada, one of the students involved here. Today was a sad day, yet empowering day at Chapel Hill. When I walked to class, I saw the Palestinian flag raised on our quad flagpole and was immediately upset at the act that these protesters, in quotes, had made. I cannot say I am fully educated on the Israel-Palestine conflict, but it upset me that my country's flag had been disrespected in order to advocate for another. Shortly after, Chancellor Roberts came with police officers to hang the flag once again. They were met with profanity, middle fingers, thrown bottles, rocks, and water. When the flag was raised once again, the Greek community, that would be the fraternities, began singing the national anthem. As the chancellor left, the quad erupted into chaos as protesters began removing the flag once again, preparing to destroy it. My fraternity brothers and others ran over to hold it up in order for it not to touch the ground. People began throwing water bottles at us, rocks, sticks, calling us profane names. We stood for an hour defending the flag so many fight to protect. My parents started a new life in the United States, a country that has helped them flourish and raise 2 kids. I grew up in a military community and saw firsthand the sacrifices they make. I will not stand for the disrespect these protesters. My LDOC will be memorable in knowing that my fraternity brothers and others fought to keep the flag up. But it will also be memorable in knowing that so many yearn to disrespect it. Hard to get through that without a tear in my eye and a lump in my throat, because as we see what transpired this week, as we see what we're told are the bright, shining minds of America's future degenerate into misguided, robotic, riotous masses chanting and cheering for terrorists that just murdered 1,200 people. As we saw that, it was easy to lose hope. It was easy to think that the future of our country is going down the toilet. And then this happens. This happens. And Guillermo Estrada, a second-generation immigrant whose parents came to this country so that Guillermo could have a good life, came here legally, came here the right way. Guillermo Estrada tells the story of how he and his fellow classmates stood for over an hour, as you see right there, to make sure that that flag didn't touch the ground. We might just make it through. We might actually make it through, as long as Guillermo Estrada and his friends are there. By the way, if you're interested, someone has set up a GoFundMe page for those guys. The Phi Kappa Phi men who defended the flag raised some money to throw them a rager. Let's get an update on that total. Wow. Did you see that? I had this page up about half an hour ago. It was at 11,000. It has doubled now. $22,000. That's going to be a hell of a party. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you for saving that flag. Thank you for doing something right. And thank you for giving my generation a little bit of hope that we're not quite done yet.